today we're going to start off by answering the questions from the Q&A that I posed to you about my BBL experience. And a lot of you guys had some amazing questions, so I'm so excited to answer these. And I just want you guys to know that although I'm going to answer 18 questions, a lot of these are multiple questions rolled into one because a lot of people had similar questions or they kind of piggybacked off of each other. All right, so let's just jump right in and get going with the first question. A couple people wanted to know who my doctor was. Now, I answered this in the BBL Experience video. I even showed his Snapchat. But just in case you missed that, my doctor is Dr. Tarek Smiley, and he's also known as Dr. Smiley, which they're spelled differently. He is located here in Beverly Hills, California. He owns the California Surgical Institute. He has 4 locations here in Southern California. So if you want his information, it will be in the description box down below. Another question relating to that was how much research did I do? The doctor that I had researched was actually Dr. Salzheiser, who is known as Dr. Miami. He's an amazing doctor. I had followed him for quite some time, done a lot of research on him and seen plenty of before and after pictures of his work. And I just kind of fell in love with him as a doctor and his artistic abilities. So I really wanted to get my surgery done by him, but he's located in Miami. And the more I thought about it, I just really didn't think it was feasible to be a mom and to have to go to Miami and stay there for a minimum of 2 weeks and then come back home and still need to recover. Dr. Smiley was a direct recommendation from Dr. Miami. He actually has his stamp of approval and certified on the way that he does his BBLs because that's what I was most concerned with. And I wanted to know, were there any doctors that they recommended here in LA? And he is the doctor that they recommended. So that's how I came up with him. I did my little research on him to make sure there was no crazy cases and came back everything good. And that's how I ended up in his office. When did I have my tummy tuck and breast augmentation? Well, actually, I had my breast augmentation and tummy tuck in Dallas, Texas, almost exactly 12 years ago. In fact, my anniversary is coming up January 11th, and it will be 12 years. I went to Dr. Gregory Stagnoni, who is one of the most phenomenal plastic surgeons that I have ever run across in my entire life, and I've looked into a lot of them. He is absolutely amazing. I've had so many other doctors, plastic or not, just regular doctors that have, seen my body to really comment on his work, like my tummy tuck and the scars and whatnot. So if you're in the Dallas area or Oklahoma, you should definitely check him out if you're interested in any type of plastic surgery. He's just absolutely amazing. How old were my children when I had that procedure done, or those procedures? Well, my little guy actually was not born. My oldest was almost 2 years old. He was a little guy, and I will tell you now that if you don't have help, you might want to rethink it because it's very difficult not to be able to pick up your child. They love you and you love them and you want to hold them, but you won't be able to because you can't even stand up for 2 weeks straight. My son, I actually sent him away to live with his dad for 3 weeks and he kept him, so I didn't have to look at the little face of him wondering why his mommy didn't want to pick him up. So if you have that ability to have your child to be away from you for the, at least 2 weeks minimum, but definitely 3 weeks if you can, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, wait until they're a little bit older, just because they don't understand why they can't hop up in your lap and why you can't pick them up. It's very difficult. So the reason I even got the tummy tuck and breast augmentation was because my body was destroyed. I gained 88 pounds during my pregnancy and I lost all the weight plus 2 pounds, so I lost 90 pounds. However, I had so much skin left over. So I had all this saggy skin. I mean, literally skin that I could just like tuck into my pants. It was pretty disgusting. And to be 21, it was horrible. It was very abusive to my self-esteem, to be quite honest. And my breast had ballooned up from a size B to a triple F because after the pregnancy and then the nursing, breastfeeding, they were just ginormous. So when I stopped breastfeeding, they also deflated and turned into flapjacks that were like hanging down towards like my rib cage, pointing straight down with little chocolate chips on the end, and not cute. So that's why I ended up getting plastic surgery. And so many people were like, oh, just work out. You just have to work out. I worked out for over a year. And let me tell you, working out will tighten your muscles, but working out is not, first of all, going to repair split muscles. When you have a baby, if you've had a baby, you know that a lot of times your muscles split. And no matter how much you work out, there's always going to be that hole in between your muscles, and it's going to look funny, and you're going to be able to see it. So plastic surgery allows the doctor to go in there and retie those muscles and tighten them back up so that you don't have that hole. But they also can pull down the skin, recreate a belly button, and do all that stuff. So don't let people discourage you from having a mommy makeover if that's something that you choose to do. If you don't choose to have the plastic surgery and you love your body the way it is, then be happy with that. Like, just be you and love you however that is. If you want to get it fixed, great. If you are perfect the way you are, great. Don't let outside influencers tell you what to do or not to do with your body. Would I consider doing plastic surgery again? Well, the answer in short is no, I don't. There's nothing else that I really want to do, but I'm not going to say that I would never do it again. If I had another child and I got destroyed the way I did the first time, then absolutely I would be all for, getting another revised tummy tuck or whatever it takes to get myself back to the way I was. I had gotten some pretty ugly comments, which don't bother me, but I do want to address them because some people don't listen. They were talking about, oh, you can just work out and get those same results. Well, that's a lie. First of all, I was in great shape before I started gaining weight. I put on the weight just so that I could have the surgery. That's first and foremost. Second of all, you can't change the structure of your body. You can't change the way your bones are shaped. You just cannot. Like, you can't change genetics. So not with working out. And I get so irritated with people saying, oh, you just have to do this. No. You can't, because you know what? I was an athlete my entire life. I played 4 sports at one time when I was in high school. So don't talk to me about, just working out. I worked out. I was addicted to working out when I was in high school. And guess what? I still never had a butt. I had a nice little shapely behind, but it was never, like big or normal size that I would want it. Did I get the results that I wanted? Yes, I did get the results that I wanted. I was actually a little bit bigger right after post-surgery, and I would have been okay if I stayed that size, although I knew that I wouldn't because it's guaranteed that you're going to lose at least 20% of the fat transferred. I think I may have actually lost 35%, maybe a little bit more, but I'm still very happy with the results. I like the shape that I have. My hips are quite noticeable. I can tell by the way my clothes fit, even like some of my leggings from BCBG. I used to have to pull them up constantly, and now I don't have to pull them up so much. So, it's made a big difference in the way my clothes fit, and I really, really like it. Someone else also asked, are the results noticeable? Well, yeah, they're noticeable to me. I mean, maybe not other people because maybe they haven't stared at me up and down, but I think people close enough to me can tell the difference. I definitely can tell the difference. I don't have some big Nicki Minaj booty, and that's absolutely not what I wanted. I just wanted to look proportionate to my shape and just something that made me look natural. Like, that's the way I was born. And I think that I accomplished that with this procedure. Someone else asked, how many cc's did I get? So I don't really know the exact answer to this. I know that there were 900 cc's, and I don't know if that was in each cheek and hip, together, or if that was 900 all over. I'm going to assume that was 900 in each side, simply because when I got my breast augmentation, I believe my cc's were like 4 something. So I can't imagine only like this size going into each butt cheek was all that I got. So I'm assuming it's 900 cc's in each side. Someone asked, how tall am I? Because they feel like the results are always more prominent on someone shorter. I am actually 5'7", and I happen to agree with you. I think the results are more prominent or pronounced on someone shorter simply because your body, you don't have the distance, the length in between. So yeah, you're going to notice it. I mean, your thighs are going to probably be bigger and probably look real nice. So I, being 5'7", I think I'm probably average height. Maybe, I don't know. So this is one of my favorite questions because it's kind of comical. It's not really funny, but to me it's a little comical. Tira probably understands why it's comical to me. Someone asked, is it really necessary to have someone to stay with you? Go back and look at that BBL Experience video. Let me just tell you, after doing all the research and stuff that I did, and somebody asked me about using Real Self. Yes, I love Real Self. I didn't get on Real Self until the very end of my research though. But I do recommend realself.com if you are interested in getting plastic surgery. It's a great forum to check out. It's a great community where you can get input from real doctors. They have ratings. It's just a great resource. Definitely check out realself.com. But a lot of videos that I saw and some posts that I read from people said, oh, you just really need somebody there for 24 hours. I call bullshit. Like, I say it's a lie. Maybe it's because I had 5 areas done, but certainly if you're doing the liposuction and fat transfer as well as another surgery, you definitely need somebody there with you longer than 24 hours. I would say at minimum 48 hours for the liposuction and the BBL. Just because you want somebody there to help you. If you have stairs or anything like that in your house, you need somebody to help you. I mean, God bless Tiara. She had to stay overnight with me. You stayed with me for like a whole week, basically, didn't you? And my mom was here in town. But my mom's older, so, you know, she has a hard time sometimes going up and down the stairs. So it was great to have Tiara here. She was able to drive me around. It's like driving Miss Daisy. You know, we were driving Holly around and she did drive me to my doctor's appointments. And that's the other thing too. Like, I don't know about your doctor or the other doctors, but my doctor, you have to go back to your first follow-up visit is the next day. There's no way I could have driven myself because first of all, I'm on pain medication. So like you need somebody to take care of you. And then I believe she drove me to my week out. You drove me to my second follow-up, which was a week later. I couldn't drive. As long as you're on pain medicines, you're not supposed to be driving. So I would recommend, if you can have somebody there for 3 days, take it. And if you're having multiple procedures done at the same time, you definitely need someone there for at least 4 days. I mean, some of these people, I can't imagine them getting the tummy tuck and a BBL at the same time. And there was one girl who had a breast augmentation, tummy tuck, and a BBL. Superwoman. I don't know how she was doing it. She was 8 days into it, and I swear to God, she looked like she had just gotten up off the surgery table. Didn't she? She was in pain. She just looked miserable. I don't know. I literally, when I saw her, I thought, oh, did you have surgery yesterday too? Because I thought she was like on her first day. She was like on day 8. And she looked miserable. Like, I don't even know how you sleep because you're not supposed to sleep on your butt if you have a BBL. If you have a tummy tuck, you can't sleep on your stomach. And you're not supposed to sleep on your hips either. I mean, are you gonna hang upside down like a bat? Like, I don't know. I wouldn't recommend doing all that together. Now, I touched on Real Self already. So somebody asked if I was on Real Self. Like I said, got on Real Self later in my research process. You should get on it right away if you're thinking about doing plastic surgery. Don't dive too deep though into people's posts. Just try to keep everything into perspective because you have to remember that people just like you and I and some other crazy people are writing these posts, and you don't want to take them to heart. You just want to take it as information and you swallow the meat, spit out the bones. But if you have questions, there are a lot of doctors on there, credible doctors that are answering your questions directly. And it's a great resourceful site. Is there anything you can do to prevent, mistakes from happening like in the OR? I mean, you can do everything under the sun. And if something is bound to go wrong, I mean, that's life. It's just gonna go wrong. And for whatever reason. So, I mean, my doctor definitely marked me up. Most doctors and a lot of doctors do mark the patients because there have been instances where somebody, is supposed to get like a broken arm fixed and they get a leg amputated. I mean, that stuff has really happened, but a lot more rare in the plastic surgery realm. I mean, that's usually outside of the plastic surgery world when that kind of stuff happens. But, I just, Somebody also asked about the monitors and stuff. Yeah, they have monitors, and I was hooked up to a bunch of monitors, but sometimes the paralytic will prevent your vitals from spiking too much. I mean, it just depends on how you react. And like I said, it's just kind of a freak thing that I am not upset about. I'm just glad that I'm here to tell you guys about it, just to give you information. Also, someone asked, or I think the same person asked about, having something set to where I can blink my eyes if I feel something. Well, having a BBL, you're on your stomach, so you're not going to see your eyes anyway. You're face down. And then the other thing is, even during most surgeries that I know of, your eyes are taped down. They have tape on, so you can't blink anyway. If you wake up, they're usually taped down. So, and the paralytic, it's pretty hard to do anything. Like, you trying to blink your eyes is even kind of hard. So I know it sucks. Don't mean to scare you, just giving you the facts. Another question is, how am I allowed to sit? Because she heard that I have to wait 4 months before I can sit. So this is somewhat true. My doctor highly recommends to avoid putting pressure on your bum for as long as possible, up to 6 months. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't sit down for 6 months. It just means that you have to use your pillow, or you have to sit forward like on your thighs. So in a lot of these past recent videos, you probably see me sitting kind of weird, or maybe I'm kind of scrunched over, or it's a weird angle. That's because it's the way I have to sit. I'm either sitting on a pillow or sitting forward like I am now. I'm sitting on part of my pillow and leaning forward to where most of the pressure is on my thighs and not on my bottom. When I drive, I have a pillow in my car at all times. Actually, I have the Booty Buddy from Dr. Miami. I ordered it from him, and I split it in half. The bottom part is what I leave in my car so that I can sit on it and drive. Did I experience the clumping sensation, or the clumping phase? Yes, and I was freaked out about it. So if you don't know what the clumping phase is, that is when your butt gets hard, like areas of the fat that you had injected gets really hard. I started to freak out. Like, I had to calm myself down, because I started thinking about neurosis, and neurosis is when, stuff is dying, and so they have to kind of go in basically and surgically remove it. And I was starting to freak out. I'm like, no, not all this work to go down the drain. And I was just trying to keep myself together. I was like, Lord, this is no, I'm not putting that in the universe. This is not neurosis. This is normal. And then I calmed down, and I read about the clumping and how the fat does that. And it was actually a good sign, because that means that the fat is starting to take to your body and mesh with the rest of the fat. So it's a good thing. And I went through that, I think maybe a couple weeks ago. So that would have been 2 weeks post-op, or week and a half post-op. So this question is kind of interesting, simply because this is Team Hot. How long did it take to get back to work? Well, I don't remember us ever stopping working. If y'all saw the BBL Experience video, Tiara had the cameras running pretty much the whole entire time. And I think when I woke up from surgery, the first thing I said to you was to get the camera. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the first words out of my mouth was get the camera when I came to after surgery. So we haven't stopped working over here, but as far as probably getting out, working a normal job and having to be somewhere outside of your house or the comforts of your own space, I would say give yourself about 3 weeks. And I know that's a lot of time to take off work, but definitely 2 weeks. You don't want to ruin all of that work that you've had done and the pain that you've gone through. So take your time in getting back. I think you could probably go back a little sooner than 3 weeks if you don't have so many areas done. For me, it was just very hard to get around and to walk up and down stairs and do stuff like that. So personally, if I could say any magical number, I would say give yourself 3 weeks. 4 weeks, it's, I'm into my 4th week at the time of filming this, and I feel pretty good. I'm getting closer and closer to feeling like I'm back 100%. I'm about 85-90% back. I say 85. And yeah, so I would give yourself 3 weeks at least. Yeah, so this an interesting question too. How did I feel about gaining weight? So that's a tricky one. I knew I needed to gain the weight, and I was okay with it initially because I'm also a foodie. I love good food, so it gave me the green light to just kind of eat whatever I want. And I'm a pretty disciplined person when it comes to eating right. So pretty much over the better part of 2016, I was, pretty much eating whatever I wanted to and not working out as much. I was also doing my MMA training, so it was very difficult to train like that and to also eat enough calories that I wasn't burning the calories that I was eating. I was just eating all the time. And then I had a small tear in my rotator cuff, so I had to stop doing the MMA training and the kickboxing, which is probably a good idea. Not doing that made me gain the weight a lot faster for this past winter. It was interesting though, gaining the weight, because I would hear comments, from people, oh, look at you getting a little thick now or whatever. And it's just like, just don't comment. Like, I could see it like when we were shooting stuff, my clothes and how my fat was starting to hang over some of the belts or, whatever. And it's not that it really bothered me, but it's just like, oh man, like, I better get this done if I'm going to do it. Because at that point, I had not even gotten the recommendation from Dr. Miami for Dr. Smiley. It was, a little later on down the line. And it was just rough because, I'm outside of House of Hot, I'm an actor. So it's not the easiest. I had gone on auditions and there were a lot of jobs that I didn't book. And it probably had something to do with my size. I don't know. They see the pictures that's on my casting profile, and then when I come in, I'm a little bit thicker than what they're looking for. And that's just the nature of the beast, working in Hollywood. So I didn't take it personal at all by any means, but it still kind of like, plays little games with your psyche. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. I'm sorry that it's so long, but y'all had questions and I promised that I would answer them. If you have any more, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. And if you don't mind, if you like this video, please hit the like button. And of course, if you haven't subscribed to House of Hot, please go ahead and do that so that you can partake in some of the amazing things that we have coming up, like our credit repair series with Arnita Johnson of Luxurious Credit. That is going to be lit. It's going to be life-changing, so you don't want to miss out on that. And the other things that we have going on this year that are going to be big and beautiful, and you don't want to miss out. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. I will talk to you guys later. Have a fabulous rest of your week. And yeah, see you soon.
I'm a dork.